Hey folks, welcome to my first Alliance War video. There's going to be some time at the end where I guess I'll break down my inspiration and aspirations for this little project that I'm doing, but I figured for now we may as well kick it off. So I'm fighting for the XMN Alliance. We're fighting against Samurai Blood 3 in Tier 2, and I think both the alliances were kind of hanging out in that top of Plat 2 position, trying to battle our way to Plat 1. And these are the defenders that I have lined up. I have a HitMonkey and Nick Fury, Guillotine 29 all lined up for me on Path 5. Then we're hopping over to Path 3 in Section 2 to fight Colossus and Hulkbuster, both pretty common placements there. And then we're heading to Boss Island to fight a Killmonger and Wasp mini. So we got 5 path fights and 2 mini boss fights on Boss Island for a total of 7, and these are the attackers I'm bringing in. Bringing in Omega Red, who's rank 3 for me at Sig 200. He's there to fight 3 fights for me, paired with Magneto, who's also a rank 3 at Sig level 60. He's there to take on 4 fights for me, with Sabretooth coming along the way. He's pulling double synergy duty, and this team to me is as good as it gets. So let's get right into it. First fight on Node 2, it's a HitMonkey with Ebb and Flow Knockdown. It's a rank 3, but the health pool actually isn't too big, so I'm going to fight this by completely ignoring the Ebb and Flow Knockdown. Just to be as safe as possible, Omega's DPS is high enough that it's actually not too bad just to slow play the fight and let your DPS kind of shine through. So I'm going to try and stay as close to him as possible, keep spores at 100, even though it's going to be a little bit tricky without locking in spores with my heavy. I'm pretty comfortable dexing his SP1. I was late there on a punish, and I was super lucky not to get full comboed. It could have been a lot worse. And so for the rest of the fight, I'm just going to dex his SP1. I'm not going to punish it, just to play it as safe as possible. And yeah, that's pretty much the rest of the fight here. Playing it super safe. Nobody wants to start off their war with a death, especially not to a simple fight here, which I should be really comfortable with. Looks like a few more SP1 dexes, and this HitMonkey should go down fairly easily. Boom. Just a nice easy parry. I could probably be a little bit slower with my combos just to allow a little more time for those death spores to rack up. That's all good. Got through the first fight. Took 2 hits, which obviously crit because it's HitMonkey and it took off a good chunk of my health, but no worries. This is one of the more trickier fights for me. This is a Nick Fury on Ebb and Flow Knockdown paired with Heavy Hitter. I've taken this fight before with a Mega, and it's gone okay. I've soloed it once and died the other time when I got stuck in the loop where he kept on firing SP1s, going unblockable, and the only way to get openings was to intercept, which can be pretty risky. So I'm taking in Magneto here with the Sabretooth synergy, and the idea and hope here is to just bypass the second phase. The first phase is easy enough because you can just parry, heavy, or parry, get your combos in without the worry of not finding your openings. But you can tell here, as it's going to show, I'm going to make a pretty big mistake. Bait up the SP2 here, and the goal here is to fire off a heavy, with the first heavy damage being the one to knock him out, and that'll place the heal block, fully bypassing his second phase. But the error I make here is I fire off the heavy too early, and it doesn't take enough of his health off, allowing the secondary damage from this heavy to actually kill him. And if you do that, he doesn't gain the heal block. And as you can see, I was too late there to fully bypass his second phase. But thankfully, the SB3 is there to kind of save my butt. Not ideal, but as you can see, I'm still getting in some good damage. I have the Fury still from knocking him down, and I'm actually able to finish this fight without a scratch. A little bit late on my timing there, but thankfully it didn't hurt us in the end. Gotta be a lot quicker when I'm taking this fight in the future. Third fight in Section 1, we're taking Guillotine, the shared mini. She has steady build up Fury, not a big deal. Heavy Hitter, also not a big deal. And Power Alternator. This is just a vanilla Magneto fight. Just gonna parry heavy until I feel like I can finish her with the special. I do maybe have to worry about power Alternator here, just in case it actually triggers and pushes her to an SB3. But that's pretty much my only worry at this point. So it's a pretty simple fight and it's pretty straightforward. This shouldn't take too long. Just parry heavy. It's the name of the game with Magneto versus these robots. And I'm just going to finish her with an SP1. That crits for 56,000. Nice. It's 3 fights in. Not too bad, a few slip-ups here, but nothing too punishing. We're going to hop over to section 3 where we have a Colossus. This is a super common placement with Chitinous Thorns and a bunch of armor buffs. Should be pretty straightforward with Omega here. And it looks like they're running points and limber, so I missed my first parry into heavy. Fire off the second one, and I'm going to miss a parry here and take a full combo to the face. So a little bit sweaty, and it looks like I'm stacking up a bunch of bleed debuffs from Chitinous Thorns, but I have full points in Coagulate, and with the Mega, that's pretty much his death field being perma activated, and a little bit of willpower healing, so I'm in a good spot. This is a super low risk fight, even though I took a full combo to the face because of a missed parry. Still get through that with no harm. 4th fight down without a sweat. 5th fight here, we have a Hulkbuster on path 3 as well. Another pretty common node. He's got explosive personality, nothing too tricky here. He is a metal defender, but he is also XL, so I'm going to try and avoid using my SP1 and SP2 just to avoid protect altogether. So the plan here is to just parry heavy, get your damage in, and then finish the fight off with an SP3 because SP3s don't seem to trigger protect. More comfortable dexing is SP1. I think it's fine to dex as SP2 as well, but I'm just trying to be as safe and comfortable as possible here because path 3 is probably the easiest path on the map, and there's absolutely no room to give up a death anywhere on path 3. So I'm just trying to play it as safe as possible. And I'm not too worried at all here. It's just a continuous loop of getting my damage in, getting my parry heavies, and making sure he fires off that SP1. So here we go. I'm going to bait another SP1 here. And I'm getting pretty close to the kill zone where I can stack a few more prowesses, get a few more heavy hits in to get him into that SP3 death range. And it shouldn't be too long until that happens. Looks like it's just one more XP1 to dex. Then we'll get our last parry heavy to get our prowesses up. And then it's SP3 time. Here we go. Fifth fight down. Now we're headed to the boss island, and this is probably the trickiest fight that I have this war. The Killmonger on Stunning Reflection. I'm super comfortable with this fight. I've taken it a ton of times when Stubborn was the Alliance War meta, and now that it's Protect, this fight just becomes even easier, so I don't have to worry about not triggering Dex to get my openings. The only trap to this fight is maybe getting cornered, and that kind of happens when you miss your openings and he fires off a few SP1s and you can't get your spacing. So I'm just going to hold block a ton to discourage him from firing off that SP1. I'll bait his heavy so I can heavy and lock my spores in. And this fight goes down pretty easily. Go, lock in my spores, bait one more SP2. I'm still taking block damage off that first hit, just as a habit from Stubborn. Regardless, doesn't really matter. This fight goes down pretty easily. And we've got one fight left in this war here. And this is the Wasp on Brute Force, Spry, Limber. When you're taking Magneto in, you don't really have to worry about limber. You're not going to have that full length of the stun. However, it's still enough for you to parry heavy and get your prowess in. The only thing you really have to worry about is brute force triggering, and even then it's a pretty simple fight with Magneto against a metal champion here. So we'll bait out our SB1, get one hit in, just to reset the brute force timer, and then it's back to parry heavy until I feel like she's at a level where I can just fire off a special and kill her. Nothing to worry about here. Really straightforward fight with Magneto. As you can see, limber's kind of kicking in, but Magneto gets that nice little extended stun from his perfect block against metal champs. So we can continue to parry heavy. We just don't have a lot of time to double up our prowesses, but Wasp's health pool is so small, doesn't really matter. And we finish her off with an SB3. So yeah, there's the war. 7 fights, nothing too complex. I'm glad I was able to get through it cleanly. Obviously there was a few slip-ups, which were fully controllable on my end, and that definitely needs to be sharpened up. And yeah, we're at the end of the war video. So one of the things that I've been aiming to do with my future with the game is to find ways to just get better, whether that's through knowledge and sharp technical skill, and Alliance War I think right now is the best avenue to do that. And so I've been recording all my fights, breaking them down, slowing them down, watching them over and over again, and I figured why not kind of push the creative envelope on my end and put them together into an Alliance War kind of project. So that's what I'm going to try and do for the near future. I don't know if it's going to be consistently 3 times every week, but when I get the time, I'll be putting them together, and I'll try and stick to this format here. And if you're still here at the end, thanks for taking the time to take a look, and I guess I'll see you the next time I cobble together an Alliance War video. Have a good one.